everybody, it's me, the Real Manos, and there's one question we've gotten a lot here on Geekvolution that I thought I'd address, and the question essentially is usually, are you going to talk about Gravity Falls? Especially when we added Steven Universe to the Primetime Crisis Live show, that question kind of lent itself. Problem is, Steven Universe kind of falls closer into the superhero genre than Gravity Falls does, and I'm the only person that I'm aware of involved with Geekvolution that actually watches the show. So it was kind of out of luck. However, now that the show is over, I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk about Gravity Falls here, since I have a little bit more room to maneuver and talk about stuff. I thought it might be fun. Instead of going through a whole overview of the show or do reviews, I thought maybe it might be a good idea to just hit you with my top 10 favorite episodes of Gravity Falls. Now, this is going to be 10 out of 40 episodes. I'm going to put multi-part episodes together, and I'm not going to include the shorts. The shorts are great, but I felt it just would complicate things. So, without further ado, I'd like to talk to you about my top 10 favorite episodes. Number 10 is Zeus and the Real Girl. And this is a delightful episode, Season 2, where we learn about Zeus's private life, which Grunkle Stan didn't want to have anything to do with. But Mabel realizes that he has a bit of a problem getting dates without being maced. And I think most people prefer dates than getting maced in the face. So she tries to encourage him to up his game, and he ends up literally doing that. He buys a Japanese video game date girlfriend teacher game. I'm not sure how you call those things. Essentially is you push a button, you make a choice, and the girl gets happy or mad. You know, like in real life. Boop, yes. And this actually does encourage him to actually go out with a real life person, and actually does well. Problem is, this is Gravity Falls, and that program, which had a girl named Giffany, which is the funniest thing ever, is an actual evil, possessive video program, computergram, and it seeks him out to destroy him because he continues not to play with her in the game anymore. Starting this huge fight at a Chuck E. Cheese-like establishment. The relationship between Zeus and his date is really believable. They actually connect very well, and actually I think that's the point of the episode is comparing him with the game, which had like very, very superficial kind of like methods of dating and impressing people, and him and a real person interacting. Also, to finish it up, the sequence with Grunkle Stan and his Goldie coin slot robot thing going to Vegas together is priceless. That's like something you see on like a really good adult cartoon series. It's so funny. Number 9 is Tourist Trapped, and that's the first episode, the pilot episode. And let me tell you something. Doing first episodes or first issues is tricky. You have to like encapsulate what the show is about. You have to grab people, be entertaining, and also set up. And it's very tricky to do that balance, and this show does it amazingly well. Actually, to be honest, this show does that all the time. I can't believe how balanced the show is with its humor, with its pace, with the drama and the backstory and the thrills. I'm constantly impressed by it, and it does it right off the bat. First great episode, where Dipper and Mabel travel to Gravity Falls, Oregon, to spend the summer with their great uncle Stan. Their parents really don't know him very well, I guess, because they would have never sent them on this trip. He runs this place called the Mystery Shack, which is sort of like a tourist trap that like is supposed to be about all the weirdness that goes on in the town. But to be honest, the twist is it has nothing to do with the weirdness. The weirdness is outside, and everything in this Mystery Shack is a fake. And Grunkle Stan is a con man who, at at the first glance, doesn't even seem like he knows what's going on. We understand at the end that's not true. He's very, very much tied into what's going on. Dipper finds a book, a journal, that's supposed to uncover all the mysteries of the town, but he doesn't know who wrote them, and he doesn't know what it's connected to. And then the plot of the episode is Mabel going out with a boy that Dipper thinks is a zombie, and she maybe hopes is a vampire because it's cooler and sexier, and they're both wrong, and they're both hilariously wrong. And wow, what a great episode to start with. The Inconveniencing is my number 8 pick, and that is an episode about Dipper having a crush on Wendy, who is so much older than he is. She's like 15 and stuff. And I gotta tell you, I kind of relate to this portion of the show, because when I was like 11 and 12, I would have crushes on like older teens, and of course it would be heartbreakingly disappointing because it's not going to happen. And that's kind of what begins here in this episode. He wants to impress her and her other teen friends, so they go. Him and Mabel go with them to this abandoned this convenience store. I almost said inconvenience store. But it's abandoned. There's a couple of chalk outlines, which is like startling for a Disney cartoon. And unfortunately, the place is haunted by the mom and pop who used to run the store, and they hate teenagers. The thing that saves them is Dipper embracing who he is as a child. And it's hilarious, and all the creepy moments that happen are just wonderful. Probably my favorite part is Mabel's tripped out scene where she over sugars, and that music is hilarious. Her fantasies are hilarious. It's just fantastic. My favorite line actually belongs to Wendy, though, at the end of the episode after they've fought the ghosts, and he asks what she's going to do, and she just casually starts saying, "Oh, I'm just going to go home, stare at the wall, and rethink everything," which I think is an appropriate response to such an event. All right, number 7 is Sock Opera, and that's season 2. Mabel once again tries to impress a boy who is a puppeteer, and for some reason she thinks that's rock star cool, and he's really snooty, by the way, which is hilarious. So she wants to like perform this and design this huge sock opera to impress him. Meanwhile, Dipper needed her help in order to uncode this old computer that maybe had some clues about who the author of the journals were, but she kind of ditches him for that. Frustrated, he is approached by Bill, the big demon villain of the series, and he offers him the deal: just give me a puppet and I'll help you out. And of course, Bill's a huge liar. So the puppet he chooses is Dipper's own body, possessing him and leaving him kind of ghost-like. The confrontation at the end during the puppet show is amazing. Mabel ends up taking possessed Dipper, Bill Dipper, and that scene where he's pulling her up while he's dressed in that preacher outfit with the lights coming down on him and he's smiling at her is so creepy. It's actually one of the more menacing moments Bill displays in the show. What a great episode. I wish I could just sit back and watch that sock opera because it looks hysterical, especially the going off to war scene. Number 6 is Irrational Treasure, which is kind of a parody of every movie in the 2000s where there's a code that's connected to something we all see every day and blah, blah, blah. Mabel gets the feeling that she's too immature, so she decides to help Dipper out on this mission because he's trying to figure out the real founder of the town, and it actually is connected to a president that was hushed up because he was so ridiculous. And they go through this mystery, solving all these clues, and Mabel decides she is going to be serious this time. And she just can't help herself. She's goofy the entire time. What's cool at the end is the fact that she realizes her silliness is an asset, and it helps her see kind of outside of the box in ways that Dipper just doesn't. And the president character is hysterical. He is Monty Python funny, and I'm sure that was an influence on every scene he's written in. He's not used to getting in the series, which maybe is probably best because he probably wouldn't be able to fit in too well with the rest of the show. He has his own ridiculous destiny, I assume. Wonderful episode, by the way. By the way, my favorite part about that one is the education film from the 50s. That is hilarious. Where the host very seriously says that this video is so secret, I will be shot after it's filmed. And he looks off camera for a second and goes, oh, what? No? Oh, that's a relief. God, that's funny. That is great. All right. The number 5 on my list is probably the best title of the entire series, is Land Before Swine. And let's see. There's a dinosaur running around or flying around Gravity Falls because there are some dinosaurs underneath the town in Amber, and one of them gets free, a pterodactyl. And while Mabel has asked Grunkle Stan to pig sit Waddles, he doesn't care about the pig. He hates the pig, so he just lets it loose, and it gets caught by the pterodactyl. He lies to her and claims he did everything he could, only for her to realize that he didn't. And there's that moment where she really gets upset with him, and he goes all out to save the pig. He goes all out to save Waddles. He fights a dinosaur to save this pig for her. That's how much he loves her. And wow, what a fun episode. I would say it's better than all 3 sequels to Jurassic Park combined. It's definitely a great ride. Number 4 is Into the Bunker. And this is actually a pretty intense episode, frankly. It's funny. There's some really funny moments with Dipper and Wendy watching those cheesy movies. There's some great jokes all throughout. But this is a pretty tense episode. Dipper, Mabel, Zeus, and they bring along Wendy, who's now kind of in the pack now. And they bring her to what they've discovered is a bunker underneath the town. It's actually connected to the tree Dipper found the journal in all along. So they go in hoping to find the author of the journals. They think they find him, but it turns out to be a shapeshifter voiced by Mark Hamill, who's really cool in this role. The shapeshifter does these cool, John Carpenter, The Thing kind of versions of Dipper and Mabel, which are amazing. And it's a great fight throughout, and the scene where Wendy actually saves the day, and then Wendy and Dipper have a conversation about his crush and what they're going to do about it. And it's written maturely for intelligent people, and it doesn't treat people stupid, and it doesn't go into cliches, and it feels very real. What a great episode. I enjoy that one a lot. Number 3 is the Weird Magellan final. All 3, actually 4 parts if you include the precursor, which is Dipper and Mabel versus the future. It is an amazing, awesome epic as far as ending this series. Essentially, it all starts small, very small, where all that happens is Stanford, the real author of the journals, asks Dipper to stay on in Gravity Falls as his apprentice, his sidekick, his pupil, blah, blah, blah. He goes nuts for this, great. That depresses Mabel, who doesn't want to break up the twins' team at this point, so she's very depressed and sad. She ends up taking his backpack by mistake, and which has this key, this antimatter key that allows Bill to go full power into our universe. Bill appears to her as someone else and tricks her into giving it to him, which starts Weird Magellan, which is this sort of Cthulhu-ish devastation that attacks the town. Holy crap, first off, the first episode ends so shockingly, with people screaming in the background. And then, of course, we go all out where the town is just decimated, and he is turning people into stone all over the place. Monsters are, tearing up everywhere. Everyone's scared. They can't escape the town. And first part is sort of this Mad Max kind of adventure. And then 2 is when they kind of get things together, and they rescue Mabel, who is sort of trapped in a prison of Bill's creation. He sort of, for the man who has everything, kind of trap, where she is in a universe where she, is kind of the god, and everything she loves is in it. Funny cameo by Jon Stewart as a kitten judge, by the way. And they escape, and of course it's the battle to save all of mankind. Everything is brought to the table. Everything is well paid off. We revisit characters again, like Multi-Bear, and the whole resolution between the Stanford twins, the Stan twins, and Bill. Just the climax is amazing. Bill really should have known who was who by the fingers, but hey, when you're on top, you tend to overlook things. At the end, after he's defeated, what I love is the fact that we get a few minutes more with the characters, and we get to see them kind of sent back onto their paths, with Zeus taking over the Mystery Shack, the Stan boys going off to adventure and kind of rekindling their relationship, and Dipper and Mabel going home with Waddles. Because that was a question for fans, is she going to be able to take the pig? And she took the pig. I don't know what they're going to tell their parents when they get home. I almost wish there was one more episode so we could see. Anyway, this episode, I'll say one more thing about the episode. It just caps off everything excellent. Actually, I'll get on to the last 2 episodes. Number 2 is Not What He Seems, which is the episode where we find out who wrote the journals, and we find out who Stan really is. And he's been lying to the kids. He's been posing as his own brother. But for a while, they don't know. And the government comes down, and they send agents because he is working on some portal experiment that may devastate the universe. So they arrest him. They try to get the kids away from him. Dipper completely believes the government agents, and just is angry at Stan. Mabel believes him, and that one moment where she looks at the newspapers and realizes she has been lied to by Stan, that moment is so devastating. Because you just see all the faith and hope just leave her eyes. And it climaxes with them trying to decide if they should leave the portal open or shut it down, and it's Mabel's choice. And Kristen Schall's acting is so good in that moment, and it does what a lot of people would probably call the ultimate trust fall. And it, of course, at the end leaves us with Stanford, the real Stan's brother, the real author of the journals. And it was one of those things where we, as a fandom, just didn't expect to see this so soon. This is before we realized the second season was the last season. So it really came as a shock, where are we going to go from here? This is the stuff they usually save to the end of the series. And, wow, that whole episode is just mind-blowing. Now, what's my favorite episode of all time, out of all these 40 fantastic episodes? It's Scarioki. Scarioki is the season 2 premiere. It picks up where Gideon Rises left off, where they are able to redeem themselves in the town's eyes from Gideon. He goes to jail. They rebuild the Mystery Shack, and they're kind of heroes now. They celebrate with a big party. The government agents from Not What He Seems show up because they're investigating what's going on in the town. Dipper's cool with this. It's like, oh, great, these guys are also looking into what I'm looking in. To impress them, he reads out of the journal some spells, and it unleashes hordes of zombies. And they're not like Super Friends Saturday morning zombies. They're trying to eat people. and they're gross and scary. They attack the party that Mabel has set up at the Mystery Shack, ruining the total party. All she wanted was for them to sing karaoke together, and Dipper had to raise the dead. The scene with Stan going out with brass knuckles beating the crap out of zombies is amazing. It's one of those things you just sit back and go, this guy is amazing. he's beating the crap out of zombies with his bare hands. The Zeus moments are very funny, and the resolution of this is classic, like Gravity Falls. They realize that high-pitched noises will destroy the zombies, so they sing karaoke together, and they sing this kind of Kesha-type song together, which is very funny to hear Dipper and Stan sing. And it has a great use of a confetti gun, and we actually see zombie heads explode. There are times where I watch this show and I go, I can't believe I'm watching this on a Disney Channel. What an amazing, great episode, and what a fantastic series. I am tempted to say the show ended too soon, but to be honest, it's better to go out when your story is told, instead of sticking around and letting your series get old and tired, like some other shows that we could probably all name right now. And I'm thankful that this show never jumped the shark. There's some obvious better episodes than others, but there's not one bad episode in this bunch. I think it is an amazing accomplishment to put out something so artistic and smart and funny on a mainstream platform like the Disney Channel, and just do it well. I'm sure maybe if you asked Alex Hirsch, there's some things he would have liked to done better, but as a fan, I can't see how. What a great series. So what do you, the viewers at home, think of Gravity Falls, and do you have favorite episodes? List them below. Was there something you really would love to hear me talk about, but I didn't? You can talk about it right here. I think that's it for now, so until next time, push the button, Lindsay.